Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. I applied my foundation, really blended it in, and then I added some translucent powder. I first apply eyeliner and then eyeshadow. I do not forget to apply my mascara. I then put on clothes. I applied a pale pink lipstick after getting dressed. I would inquire with Stevie about going to a nail parlor to get my nails done. I went downstairs after making sure everything was in order in the room. In the kitchen, Stevie was waiting for me. My sweetheart, you are extremely gorgeous. How did you sleep the night before? Yes, sweetheart, I slept splendidly in your honor. Do you think I could go to a nail salon to get my nails done, Stevie? Why, of course it is. Every woman should have lovely nails. As soon as we're done here, I'll find you a salon. Stevie, you said you were going to recreate everything I did when I go back in the time machine. You are so amazing to me, and you, beautiful lady, are so wonderful to me. What makes you want to return? I thought you said you were content here. I was, and after this woman entered my life, she assisted me in putting this endeavor together. Do you even have the slightest doubt that our meeting was a coincidence? I think God has a plan for each and every one of us. We carry out that plan even though we are unsure of its exact details. I think that however we met, it was all a part of God's plan for us. The same is true for me, Stevie. I firmly feel that God has led me to you so that you can assist me in going back to the day I erred. I think he sent me to you to assist you so you could go back as well. But keep in mind, Stevie, that we are returning to our youth. And for the next 8 years, at least for me, we shall act like children once more, needing to go to school and arrive at a set time. I will too, sweetheart. You must keep in mind that we are close in age. Lisa, what year were you born? In Des Moines, Iowa, on August 14th, 1948, I was born. What a coincidence. I was born just a short boat ride away from you on August 13th, 1948, in Ottumwa, Iowa, on the Des Moines River. Lisa, where were you raised? In a tiny Upper Michigan community. In Houghton, Michigan, I grew up. So as you can see, Lisa, we were meant to be. However, God has just bestowed upon us a bigger gift. He has given me permission to write the physics for a device and an exchanger that will let us go back in time and develop a friendship throughout time. And I'll get the house you slept in last night. That means I can support you while you transition to a different gender. Do you want that, Lisa? Oh my goodness, Stevie, how great would it be? Okay, let's head home and get some rest so that you can begin wiring the engine tomorrow. Okay, Stevie, but it will take at least another 3 days to finish the wiring. After that, it just needs to have the housing put on. Well done, Lisa. But I believe it's time for us to return home. When the server announced our engagement, the other patrons present applauded, and we got up. After paying the bill, the professor took me into his arms and gave me a deep, passionate kiss as we exited into the parking lot. Dear Lisa Connors, I adore you. Stevie, I adore you as well. He unlocked the door for me to enter the vehicle as we approached the passenger side. I will get a good night's sleep tonight because I have finally discovered my true love. Stevie was smiling and humming as he drove as we pulled out of the parking lot. Oh my word, this man was just so amazing as I sat there and saw him whistle. I didn't look away from him once as we drove the entire way home. He may have been aware that I was observing him, but he continued to focus on the road because he was driving. After we arrived home, I waited for him to unlock my door. He exited, turned back, opened my door, and extended his hand to assist me in standing up. After that, we entered. I'll be back soon, sweetie. I should spruce up a little. Okay, Lisa, but please return quickly. I walked to my room up the stairs and removed my clothes and changed into my nightgown for my penguar baby doll. I put some perfume on and let my hair down. I then returned downstairs. When I returned from the second floor, I discovered Stevie seated on the sofa. He smiled as soon as he heard me coming down. I simply grin in my Kofi male smell. Lisa, if I didn't know any better, I'd assume you were trying to communicate with me. Giggle. What gave you that notion, Professor? Oh, I have no idea. A small bird came and perched on my shoulder. I sat down next to him and rested my head on his shoulder after we both have a nice laugh over it. He wrapped his arm over me and, perhaps sensing my quivering, said, "Don't worry." To me, "Lisa, don't worry. Everything will be over soon and we'll get another chance to put things right." I simply let the tears flow. I wasn't ashamed of my tears either, because girls may cry about anything. I did nothing but sit and let him embrace me. He lifted my head and used his finger to dab away my tears. He then tightly hugged me. I'm not sure how I ended up in bed, but that's where I was when I awoke. I think Stevie carried me upstairs to put me to bed. I felt exhausted, extremely exhausted, as soon as I pulled back the covers and swung my legs out of bed. Stevie then entered the room carrying a breakfast tray. "Greetings, my dear dove. I plan to prepare you a wonderful breakfast. What mood are you in?" "Honey, I feel very exhausted and like I have no energy." "Oh my goodness, Stevie, what a tremendous breakfast." "Not all of it can I consume." "Yes, some of it is for me as well, sweetheart." After placing the tray on the nightstand, he sat down and hugged me. "I took you up to bed after you passed out while in my arms. You appeared to be an angel when I tucked you in. I kissed you on the forehead before leaving for my room. Last night, you proved to me that you are a woman. But we can take care of that since God has given us another chance to speak what we were too timid to say as youngsters." My head resting on his shoulder, I leaned over. After a period of holding me, he said, "Our breakfast is getting cold, dear. Would you at least make an effort to eat something? Please." "Okay, Stevie, I'll give it a shot." I ate 2 bites of a jelly toast before returning it to the platter. After a few drinks of milk and juice, I informed Stevie that I was satisfied. "You haven't actually eaten anything, though. When you consume improper food, you worry me. I don't intend to be disrespectful. I just don't feel particularly hungry this morning. Okay, I won't try to make you eat right away. Perhaps later." "Yes, Stevie, perhaps later." Once more placing my head on his shoulder, he simply held me there while my previous night's concerns returned. "My God, you still feel scared, don't you?" "Yes, I am. However, Stevie, what terrifies me more than the project's success or failure is what might happen if I return and tell my mother that I must have a physical appearance that matches my soul. What if she makes fun of me or, worse still, shouts at me? However, I must stress that I require this and that. I must convey to her that this has been happening to me for as long as I can remember, not just as an idea. You mentioned that I might have a female soul, and if that is the case, I need to explain it to her. Lisa, I get it. Of course, you are correct, too. But resist allowing uncertainty to fill you with dread or sadness. Approach this as you have other challenges in life. I am aware that even though you will be a child once more, your thinking will still be an adult. So should that circumstance arise, you will be prepared." "I'm sorry, Stevie, or you're correct. Sorry. What reason? Allowing me to witness your female side? You don't need to apologize. You are a sweet woman with a giving and compassionate heart. Make no mistake, Lisa Connors. Despite the fact that you have just recently begun dress the part in public, you are a woman, and you should be proud of that. I am aware of Stevie, yet I am powerless over my feelings. They just arrive without my control. Every woman should be free to express their feelings. On school, I've encountered transgender people, but you strike me as more feminine and womanly. I'll use one as an illustration. You didn't hesitate when I asked you to go out with me as Lisa. You weren't hesitant to ask me whether the university's dress code would permit you to wear Lisa-inspired clothing. You were just sitting there soaking it all in with a smile when the server at the restaurant announced our engagement to everyone. I didn't feel a guy in my arms while dancing with you. I felt a lady. You complied with my demands just like any other woman would. You are all women, Lisa Connors, and I am honored to be your future husband. I'm grateful, Stevie. It's a delight. Trust me, you must put on clothes right away so that we can go work on the project. I have a few classes to teach today, so I'll leave you in the lab by yourself for a while, but I can assure you that everything will be okay. After taking a shower and plucking a few hairs off my chin, I proceeded to dress. I paired my soft pink Angora sweater with my pink Levi's women's wear jeans for today. I grabbed my handbag, put on a pair of suntan stay-up thigh-high nylons, and went downstairs. "You are gorgeous, my Feminized. Are we prepared to begin work?" I replied with a bright smile. "Yes, fiancé of mine, we are." When we got to the car, Stevie once more held the door open. We moved on to the university after he backed the car out of the driveway. The dean of the science and physics department was there to greet us when we arrived. "Good day, Steve. Who is your brand new helper? If she's going to work here with you, we need to register her." "Yes, Dan, I completely agree. However, because of my busy schedule with schoolwork and a government assignment, I failed to remember." "You're fine, Steve. Bring her in during lunchtime and we'll get her a form. I'll provide my approval so she can keep working here. Regards, Dan." Then I'll invite her over. "Dan Granger. This is Lisa Connors, by the way." "Hi, Lisa. Nice to meet you. Hope you have fun being here. Dean, thank you. I believe I will. It's a pleasure to work for the professor." "Call me Dan if you would like. The students also do. Dan, I'll make sure to properly complete the application. Okay, we'll talk to you after lunch." I returned to my work of wiring the engine after he had left. I proceeded to get the wiring diagram blueprint and reviewed my earlier work. Everything appeared to be correctly linked. The transmitter that will power the exchanger needed to be wired now. The transmitter would be powered by a sizable lithium battery with a titanium housing. I positioned the other wires on the remaining engine, double-checked their placement, and then used the 10-watt soldering iron to connect them. I examined the battery's leads after nearly finishing the wiring. Like a car or boat battery, it lacked any side or top poles. There were bolts on it that the wires would wrap around and then be soldered to. I added extra wiring to the engine as a result, and for some reason, as I soldered the wires into position, the wiring was finished. I lifted the battery into position using the hoist after wrapping the cables around it. After that, I connected the wires to the bolts and fastened the wires to the batteries. The engine cover just needed to be put on, and the time machine would be finished. This project would be completed tonight since the exchanger is already finished. It was 4 days early than I had anticipated. I moved the hoist to the location of the engine cover. I secured the engine cover with cables before lifting it over the time machine's power unit. After slowly lowering it, I proceeded to get the pneumatic ratchet and secured it with a bolt. I finished my task. I couldn't wait to give it a try, but I had to wait for Stevie to return. My better judgment abruptly fled me while I was sitting there admiring my work. I moved the dials to August 14th, 1958, and I stepped over to the time machine. The glass bell's door was constructed of the same type of glass that is used in airplanes, so I climbed inside and shut it. I examined the control panels to familiarize myself with their operation. Now all I needed was the willpower to convince my mother to accept, love, and support me for the girl I so desperately need to be. After pressing the green button, I unexpectedly saw Stevie enter the lab. His lips saying, "Good luck, Lisa dear," was the last thing I saw. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.